Hi muckers, and welcome back to the second video I am posting today. If you're just here for this one, you haven't seen the first one, or you just watched the first one and you're not seeing this one, I appreciate you choosing to spend a little portion of your day in any way with me. Also, please make sure to check out the pinned description. You will see the Facebook group for the muckers. Go request and I will accept you. And also, my second channel has relaunched. There's new videos there every single day. There's so many new videos on there. If you click the link, I would really appreciate you going over and subscribing. But today, for today's video, I have been sent non-stop this new video from Trisha Paytas, and I have not seen it, I have not watched it. I'm going to be doing the normal thing, which is we watch it together. I'm going to be honest, I really have no idea what she's talking about in this video, but the title alludes to me as if she's talking about her past, which I think is the reason that you want me to watch this so much. So again, I don't know, this could be nothing, but this could be something. So here's the video from Trisha. Apparently it is her talking about all the things that she would do differently, hence the title, I wish I would have done things differently. And again, non-stop I have been sent this. So we're going to go through it together and we are going to put it on, it's Trisha, so we won't do 2x speed, but we'll do 1.25. So if you watch my videos sped up, I would slow it down a bit. Also, please don't judge me. I have been wanting a hot mama pickle all day today, and what other perfect time to watch it than when we're going through some entertainment together. So if you see me gnawing at my hot mama pickle, this is a judgment-free zone. Judgment-free zone. So let's hear what Trisha Paytas would do differently now that we have Mommy Paytas.
Hey everyone, what is up?
Hey Trish.
Today, this was on my heart to talk about. This angel, I don't know why you're subscribed here. Bless your heart, I don't really know what I'm going to be posting on here. So lately it's just been a stream of consciousness, what I feel like talking, or what I was thinking about in the shower this morning, and what I was thinking about last night. I actually tweeted about this last night, and I woke up this morning to see my tweets. And there like replies to it, and I just thought I'd like expand a little bit more because there was a ton of
her tweets, by the way, were basically saying that she wouldn't be involved in drama again, which is just like, listen, for Trisha, I 100% love that she has this new baby. I hope it is providing her with so much happiness and comfort, and I hope she provides the baby with the same. I just don't appreciate that she's using the past like 6 months of her life where she has been very pregnant and now has a baby and hasn't really been doing much on the internet except for, you know, preparing for baby content. I don't appreciate that, like, all she's doing is bringing up that she hates that she talked about drama, because first of all, it is more than that. She did build her career off of it, even up until like this time last year she was doing the same thing. But I don't know what she feels she's doing talking about it over and over and over again, because it almost like goes against the like growth that she's doing when she keeps bringing it up and talking about drama. And I don't know the thought process behind it. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, because we talk about it all the time, and the last couple times we talked about Trisha, I feel that she's been saying the same thing, which is just that, oh my god, I was involved in drama, like I wish I wouldn't have done that, and she completely avoids the fact that she has the platform now because of the drama. It's like, alright, you can denounce the drama, and listen, before I get really into it, we'll listen to it a bit more.
nice comments being like, you know what, you shouldn't regret your past, like it's in the past, it made you who you are, which was my mindset for so long. And then of course there was a lot of nice comments as well that were like, you know, it's never too late to change. There was one really cool tweet that was like, you know, as long as there is breath in your lungs, you still have a chance with God. Like there was, you know, nice ones, and then of course there's the snarky ones that are like, well, you were a whore, so good luck in life, you know, whatever. But I thought I'd just expand on it a little more because I think it's really important. I think, as so many people have pointed out, right, like I've had a journey here on YouTube, and a journey that I am like,
and a journey it has been,
grateful for a number of reasons. But you know, primarily the main reason is like I've had a really great job career at this point, 16 years on YouTube, and 13 of those years making really great money, because those other 3 years I was trapped, I was lost, I was a sex worker in Los Angeles.
And how were you making the great money for those 13 years? Drama. So if you now say that you would have done things differently and not have done the drama, that's not true. I can say that I'm so happy with this new era that you're in, and I'm happy for you, and blah, 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 blah. And I genuinely mean it, but I can also, like, say that you're at where you're at now because of drama. The house that you're in, paid for from drama. Your child's life will be paid for the bank account money that was made off of drama for those 13 years. So, it's all well and good saying that, I can't believe I ever did that, and I'm just not that person, anyone else who does that, like, that's not for me. But you're at where you're at now, able to say that you would never do that because you got to where you're at because of that. I don't know if that makes sense. That's just a really long-winded way of explaining it, but I hope you know what I mean by that. It's like everything you have is because of the awful things you've done online for those 15 years. So whenever you're sitting down to tell me that you are now in this great part of your life where you can move on and leave that in the past and you wish you never did that, but you don't, because you wouldn't be where you're at without that. You are known as a problematic creator. I'm so happy for you that you're entering this new era, but there's a stage where continuously talking about this is coming across as very hypocritical to me.
I couldn't even pay my rent, money was going to boyfriends, to drugs, all these things. And I was just lost. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have education. I didn't have any of that. So like YouTube saved me in the sense that like this got to be my job, which became social media, became my job, because now I obviously make money on other platforms besides just YouTube, which I'm also super thankful for. I practice gratitude every day, so every time I say these things, I don't say.
And again, the other platforms you got exposure on because of the drama and awful things you were doing on your main one. We can address both at the same time and not say, if I did things differently. If you'd done things differently, you wouldn't be sitting in a $1 million house right now. It's the truth. I'm sorry. I don't know if I sound bitchy, but like, it's the truth. Come on.
And like, I really do like think about it, and I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I truly, I can't
pickle's
be
good.
more grateful for 13 years making a living on YouTube. It's a blessing.
Okay.
And it's because of you guys, because people didn't watch or support or like got behind me in some way. Like it wouldn't be possible.
And for a lot of that, come on now, was a lot of people supporting you because you were exposing people or exposing their least favorite creator or something like that. I just don't appreciate though, like, because it almost sets up false hope for people then. Like, she's where she's at right now because she provoked people online. Not because she was an amazing person for 15 years, here and there messed up. No, she actively, that was her career. I can say that and then also say, with all love, I hope this new era of your life is great. You can say both at the same time.
Well, including to this day. And a lot of you guys now have seen me become a mom and a wife on YouTube, which was like things that like definitely would have never happened if you were asking 2019 and there was like a bingo card. Like wouldn't have been on the realm of possibility, especially 2019 when I spiraled, went to 3 mental hospitals, just went on drug binges. Like I was a mess in 2019, so it wasn't that long ago that I changed my life around. And a lot of people notice that, and I appreciate that. Mostly I want to change my life for myself because it just was a path that I didn't want to be going down anymore.
Yeah.
The time being
I'm so happy for where she's at right now.
But to allow us to get that change, it took a lot of circumstantial things to make that change, and I'm thankful I did. To go back to the original point of all this, so many of you now have seen me become mother and wife, and are like, wow, it's really cool to see like where you like come from to like now, in probably every sense of the word, mentally and just being a different person. I think I'm pretty much proof that people like can change. I know a lot of people still like are like skeptical, and I get it. It's only been it hasn't been long, right? Like I get it. Like I'm not one to be like, listen to my words and tell you I've changed it. You know what? And like I said, when I see comments like, wow, like I can see a difference, like a different, even if they hit their finger on it, like that means a lot to me because I have been putting in so much work on myself since 2019. There's been ebbs and flows of that, and it's definitely been highs and lows. But I feel like specifically this past year, I really went on this like spiritual journey, and it like led me to my own understanding and my own peace with the world and creation and all that stuff. And while I agree with a lot of those tweets that are like, hey, the past makes you, and I think that's a good way of coping because you can't change the past. Mm-hmm. You can't change the past. But I tweeted out something along the lines like, if I could turn back the hands of time, I would be wholesome. And I mean that wholeheartedly.
But that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense with anything about you now. Everything you've created has been from not being that. I really don't mean to come across as like really rude right now, and I know I'm probably coming across like that, maybe even bitter, but like I just don't like when people do stuff like this. Like I'm so happy for you, and I hope like the things you've overcame, like it's so great and all like that, but like to almost set up to your audience that, oh, if I'd done things differently, like, you know, like where would I be at now? I'd be so much happier. I'd be so much whatever. It's like everything that you have is I don't even want to keep.
And I think the original point of all that was, you know, I think my job here on YouTube has been to show people how not to act, show people how to do this. You know, like teaching as the example of a mess, what not to end up like. However, there's a happy ending to my story. So being a hot mess and showing people how they don't want to be or making them feel better about their own lives,
I completely agree, but also you did state for several months and several times on the internet that you purposely were provoking people, you were trolling, you were offending people, you were doing this not because you were mentally spiraling. There's a lot of times of that on your channel, but you also said how many times you would do things just to provoke people for money, which is when you said you were attacking Charlie D'Amelio and Dixie D'Amelio, children, because you knew that that would give you a lot of money and attention. It's like, a lot of it is calculated, and a lot of it is mental health, but a lot of it was also calculated. So I just don't like that we're like rewriting history here. I don't.
Like now I'm at a place where I can maybe learn from my mistakes if you are young, because I'm not young. I made so many mistakes. And I've always been like,
great, we'll learn from your mistakes, but we're not the ones with millions of dollars in the bank because we were the ones who offended all those people. You are.
No regrets. I have no regrets. Like, again, my past is what made me. But I think I would have come to this conclusion without making those mistakes too. I would have had
But your circumstances would be incredibly different.
my daughter. I truly believe Malibu was meant to be mine, like destined. And I feel like if you watched me for any time, I've talked about Malibu since I was probably 24 by her name. Like I feel like she was destined to be mine. I don't know how to explain it. So I don't think I had to go through everything in life to have her. I think she would have been mine regardless. And I would have been my husband regardless. That's just my beliefs right now. They could change because why? I'm a human. And humans by nature are just walking contradictions because they change their mind, they change their
Some of us are bigger walking contradictions than the others. As in Trisha, the last 15 years for you.
And evil. So having said that, I'm online and I'm online for a reason, and I feel like I've helped people. And I feel like I'm at this stage in my life where like, hey, my ASMR channel is like helping people. It calms people down, it relieves anxiety, it relieves my anxiety. Like it's a good healing thing. So
and that's great. And I think that you should be getting credit for all like that, especially the ASMR channel and how much you've been staying out of drama. But I just think that as well, it's like, this may be an unpopular opinion, but when you act a certain way online for so long and openly state that you know what you're doing and openly state many times that you're doing it for money, and whenever that money comes at the price of offending people, putting certain groups of people in more danger online because you're for that week identifying with them and almost making fun of them on videos, you know what I mean? I hear you say that, oh, the last 15 years, whatever, and I'm in this great place now, and it's like, I look at that and just think about all the damage that you've still done. And I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but just, I think that if people do it with people like Shane and Jeffrey, it's the exact same with Trish. When Shane has a baby, people aren't going to be like, oh, like whatever. They will to a certain extent, but they'll still remember all of the things he's done. It's we're not talking about like 1 year or 2 years of this. We're talking about like almost 20 years of purposely putting yourself in the news to highlight a different group of people that you're going to make fun of and appropriate for that period of time. And then you'll openly acknowledge that you were doing it for money. Remember her going on the H3 podcast and basically lying about the fact that she made money on the I'm coming out as transgender video, and then Ethan pulls her up and catches that she's lying? It's like, so whenever I'm thinking about, you know, the past 6 months of you being so great, I still think about all the last 15 years. And I don't know if that just makes me an awful person, but like, possibly. But it just kind of makes these sentiments feel a little bit, you know, there's more to them than just being like, woohoo, to me. Especially when it's not just something you're saying once, you're constantly repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. I don't know. I feel that with Frenemies, it was such a rebrand of Trisha that people were like, oh my god, for the past 2 years, like she's been a completely different person. And then she got worse after it. It's just kind of, fuck me, it's like trauma around her online.
So I was like, let me just make this a teachable moment because I can make my feel about it. And that is being careful what you put out on the internet. And I think that's like the best lesson could come from me, because what you put out on the internet stays on the internet forever and will follow you for life. One day I pray that like there's a turn where like the internet's like wiped clean from like this point back. So like, you know, we started getting clean in 2025 and everything else is like wiped from it, including from people's minds. Like that could happen, like AI, like, you know, Okay, and we all get fresh new starts in 2025. Like that's like my main goal.
But also, a lot of people have done so much harm that they should be remembered for it, and that not even if they're just remembered for it, that people remember that they've done those kind of things. Just my opinion.
I hope, but probably not realistic. But maybe like 2050, 50, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But for now, everything that's been put on the internet stays on the internet, and people won't let you forget it. And rightfully so. I do think, hey, if you have bad behavior or make poor choices, like, do I think people in real life should get second chances? Yes. Do I think people on the internet should get second chances? Yes. Obviously, I'm at second, third, fourth, fifth. I'm on my like 34th chance right now. But you know, there's people that will not let it go, and I get that too, right? Like, if you're really hurt by someone, like a friendship or a relationship, like that could end the relationship, friendship, and therefore you'll never fully let that go. Like, if that makes sense, like you just. Like,
so then, why should it be wiped from people's minds? Like, you know what I mean? That's just a contradiction.
Not this friendship because I just cannot forgive you for what you've done, and I get that with me and other people online. You do something horrendous, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You don't.
But didn't you say it should be wiped and everyone should forget?
In my case, I have hate, but then I found this like. You know, I don't know why. I found it actually like a support. I have like a really hateful group of people that hate me, and then I found like a really good group of people. I don't really like engage too much with either. I don't engage. I don't really engage much with either because I don't think it's really healthy to like read about yourself, good or bad. But I found a group of people that were like really supportive and understood, you know, me and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But there's a lot of hate. And like it goes a little extreme, right? Like, okay, I get it. You hate me for something I said in 2010. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. You don't think I've changed. That's totally your opinion. You're right. But like, you need to like ruin my life. And trust me, a lot of people want to ruin my life, and still to this day, and including like people around me and stuff like that. And I don't buy into the mindset of like, oh well, people hate you, so you just shouldn't share your life online. It's like, no, like people should just not maliciously hate people that have nothing to do with anything that I did in 2010. If that makes sense. I don't know. Again, because
listen, Trisha has so much on the internet to dislike her for, and I agree with what she's saying to an extent, but I just also think that there's so much about Trisha that's from as recent as 2021. And again, she's stating she's had 34th, chances, and it's like, what do you want us to do with this information? Like, this video and people talking about this now and having a conversation about it is because she's bringing it up yet again. Like, no one is... So I don't know the point. It's not just us being like, oh, let's talk about Trisha and being a hypocrite. Like, she's openly doing this over and over again. I don't get it.
I like to share my life. I'm not gonna like feel like punish myself for the rest of my life and be like, you can no longer share any of your happiness online because there's people online that hate you. Like, no, like eventually they'll either find something in their life that fulfills them more, or they go away, or they grow out of it. Trust me, I've been around long enough to see people like go from hater to like just they don't care anymore, which is great too.
Yourself? Question mark?
But all that to say, I do regret putting out a non-wholesome image. I wish, even if it's not truly authentic to myself, right? Because I put out a lot of stuff that wasn't truly authentic to myself, including trolling. So I put out a inauthentic version of myself that was like I wouldn't say nasty, like just stupid, dumb, attention seeking. That wasn't me. So I put that.
I love whenever creators can sit down and have an honest conversation like this, but I don't like when they're doing it whenever the behavior that they're talking about they've done so long ago was a year ago.
Out there. So I was like, why would I put out a version of myself if I was being authentic anyways, with a clean, wholesome version of myself? And I love that. And I could see from like, because I haven't lived that life, right? There was YouTubers that were very wholesome, never talked about sex, never did anything bad, like acted like they were 18 when they were 30, right? Like, I love that. And then now they kind of like, no, I'm gonna be bad now. Not bad, but they want to be more authentic to themselves, because obviously, like, you're 30 years old, you're gonna like have sex and drink or whatever. But I wish I could have held on to wholesomeness. I wish I could have created wholesomeness and held on to wholesomeness. I think there's a lot of people that have done that. I think, I don't watch her too much, but I just know like her vibe, Rosanna Pansino. I think she has a very wholesome vibe. And I tend to like gravitate towards people that like are wholesome now. Because dang, I really wish, because their life isn't perfect and cookie cutter, no pun intended, but like it's nice to have that illusion, that escape, right? I used to watch the Brady Bunch when I was a kid because I like wanted that family situation so bad. I wanted lots of...
You've stated in this video you want to be authentic online, and you're now stating that you want to lie online. What is it?
Siblings and, a wholesome family and going to school and packing sandwiches and like all this, I don't know. So like, I guess I've always kind of been attracted to wholesomeness in my life, but I haven't attracted it to myself. Why? Because I myself couldn't be wholesome no matter how much I tried. And I thought from an early age when, if something happened to me that wasn't like considered wholesome, I already felt dirtied, I guess you could say, or people in like that were in my life at the time, and not family, but people that were like around me, like adults and stuff like that, would tell me like, oh, like you did this, like this is this, or kids at school or whatever. And starting from a very early age, like I'm talking like elementary school, kids would comment about how I wasn't wearing a bra in like the third grade because like it's the third grade, like why would I wear a bra? They had like training bras and stuff, but like I ended up getting one because kids were making fun of me because they saw my nipples through my shirt or whatever. And I remember like just people like people in a position of like power being like pulling me aside and trying to tell me like, hey, you need to wear a bra, I guess, but like instead of saying it that way or telling my parents or something like that, they were just like, you're giving boys like the wrong idea, like from an early age, you know what I mean? Like the boys are gonna look at you and think this, and this, and it was just like, I think from like that and just other experiences in my life, like I just already thought that I was like dirtied and like not wholesome, and I was no longer like, I could no longer be like, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be worthy of like anyone's respect, I guess. Boys, girls, everything, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I think I had that in my head from early on, right? And I think we also see that in just media, especially when I was a kid, like there was a ton of like slut shaming and stuff like that. And not even for just having sex. Like again, I got my period early, and I remember having to talk about that with an educator.
Listen, all what she's saying here is completely valid on how you would feel. And actually, a lot of people were criticizing Trisha, being like, she's going to pass so much trauma onto her daughter. And I always thought that was so harsh when people said that. And it really is a case of, it can go one of two ways. It can go the extreme way on what people are saying, which is a very, like, hurtful thing to put out there. But also, she has had so much done to her that whenever she's bringing up her daughter, it could trigger this happened to me and I don't want this to happen to you. And that's a really beautiful thing about when the lower generations start having children, which is like not passing on generational trauma or not, teaching what's right and wrong from a very young age, so people are able to protect themselves or in a way that they feel comfortable with themselves or comfortable having conversations with adults in a safe space and knowing what a safe space is. And it's like, I really think that the conversation should be shifted to Trisha's been through so much, and look, how much she's learned that could, benefit her parenting in a way and stuff. And again, everything she's saying here is horrifying, and it's like, oof.
Female, and being like, like her telling me like if I was pregnant right now, like, I'm gonna be outcasted and shunned, and my parents would send me with just like stuff like that, so it's like in your head, like, well, you're the first to get your period, so it means you're the first to get pregnant, and if you're the first to get pregnant in your class, this, and it's just like already projecting that stuff on me, which is probably why to this day I don't like when people project stuff on me in the medical sense like that, because it's like, why are you putting that on me? Nothing has even happened yet. So I think I was already in my head from like an early age, like that's who I am. I developed quicker. I'm attracted to a certain like an older guy. Like this is where I'm going with it. Like this is my life now. I'm gonna be just that person. And it obviously went into this adult, like 18 years old. I'm starting stripping. I'm starting to date guys that are like in their 40s and 50s and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's psychological issues to all that. I don't know. That was just what I'm attracted to. A lot of young girls will say, I'm just attracted to older guys. I'm just mature for me, which is all very true. But like also, there's like again psychology behind it all. That's like it's not really normal or healthy to be in those relationships, even if that is what you're attracted to and that's what you like. But again, for my situation, I was like craving this attention I wasn't getting from like my dad, for instance, who I love, but lived in California while I lived in Illinois growing up, and obviously now we have a great relationship. But yeah, there was that like, why are we not living in the same state? Why do I not get to see him every day or every week? And just wanting that. That's a whole other thing. But so then, I portrayed this very over-the-top sexy image that I learned from, of course, media, like Howard Stern. I would see Jenna Jameson on there, Pamela Anderson, and I was like, wow, they get attention from all these guys, and they're getting attention this way. Or Anna Nicole got attention from marrying a guy that's 80. Like, I was like, those were the people, and not on them, because now the more I learn about Marilyn, Anna, Pam, all the people I idolized, like they were sexualized, but not necessarily by choice, and the way they would present their sexuality was really empowering, but the way the media tried to like take it and spin it was really disgusting. True. But I was going with how the media was spinning it because I thought that's the attention, but that's not how they were portraying it, and they were ultimately screwed over. But again, not by their choices, by the way they dressed or looked. I think that was totally empowering. It was, tabloids and media and even like talk show hosts and stuff. They were like drama channels. It was back in the 90s, I guess.
Jeez, mention of drama channels, take a shot. I just think that and this could be my ignorance, I really haven't seen people online who are criticizing Trisha really focus on what she's talking about right now. I've just seen people focus on when she's actively gone out of her way to offend people, or actively gone out of her way to appropriate religion, or appropriate an ethnicity, or just any group of people. And it's like, I don't know if she's trying to say here that she made the money, you know, all those years on YouTube, like, through having the image of being, like, you know, overly sexual or whatever like that. But my thinking whenever she's talking about this is all about those 15 years. I don't know.
Just like adding to the meanness of it all. But so I decided early on that was what I was gonna be. I was always a stripper, so I was like, I'm gonna just own this. You know, this is my identity. So obviously online, I talked about being a stripper, and people perceive that as being really open. And I think at the time, I rationalized it as, hey, if I air out all my skeletons, like no one can like use it against me. That's what I was like thinking. But in reality, I was like, would people use it against me? Maybe, you know, because it was like, would I have a chance at being wholesome if someone came out and said like, I saw you working at this club or something, like, you know, maybe. Excuse me, maybe that was like a thought in my head, but ultimately I think I wanted to just be completely out there and like vulgar and present myself that way, because a lot of my early videos too were just overly sexual and sexualizing myself. Again, I think there's an empowerment. I still work a little bit in the sex industry with my OF, so I think there's empowerment to your body and all stuff like that, and showing it, like, you know.
I mean, that was the other platform she was talking about making money off of at the start of the video.
So I don't say it like that. Like, if you're working in the industry and you can own it and you know, accept it, and like you like it because that's what you like, great. But I didn't like it. And again, I like my OF, but now being a mom, I literally am thinking like now, gosh, I really wish I could take back everything adult related, because, and you can't possibly know this or feel this until I had my daughter, because I would say even before, while I was pregnant, like, you know what, she's gonna be open-minded, like, it's fine, like, you know, people are gonna be accepting of that. And if
I see both ways in this. I understand Trisha only really thinking like that once the baby's here, but also there were so many instances where Trisha has been called out for making other people with babies feel uncomfortable and what their babies will see. For instance, when she posted on OF getting off to a picture of Ethan, and you know, everyone was saying this is stuff that Ethan's kids are going to see one day, and they're going to know you from Moses, and then they're going to see that. Like, how weird's that? And then also when she was doing things in recent, you know, months, people really weren't shaming her, but especially people who were paying for her OnlyFans, but they were saying, hey, you know, like, we would love to hear a conversation on what you think when the baby's born, like, if you'll, and again, that's not something that, you know, she would know if her mind was going to change when she had the baby. But what I want to focus on is that she's been aware that stuff that she's been putting on her sexual pages could affect the lives of her family members' children. That's where my mind goes to at it. So it's like, your child is going to see this, and again, I'm so supportive of sex workers who have children, like, all like that. Like, it's none of my business what you do. It's none of my business what you do. But what I'm saying is that when Trisha was using that to make Ethan and Ela uncomfortable, which then was something their child is going to see, she wasn't thinking about their child. And so she should have always been thinking about, what if this was my, like,
if they're not accepting of that in like the future, then like, you know, then I don't want her to hang out with those people or whatever. But until I had her, I think she's with her dad right now. Okay, they're getting a bottle. You know, I couldn't know how I feel, but how I feel is like, and again, this is just for me personally. I don't judge anyone else. I think there's people who balance sex work and adult life and stuff like that with being a mother. I think they do it perfectly, and they don't have regrets about it. I think that's great. But I do have regrets, because I don't want my daughter looking at me through the lens that I looked at Pamela Anderson or Anna Nicole, right? Like, obviously I wasn't raised by them, so it's a little bit different. Like, she's gonna know me and stuff, but and the media being me, how I twisted my sexuality and projected like this overtly sexual image. And so I was in my head, the Pam Anderson and the media, like twisting it all around, and now my daughter will eventually have to see it and know about it, and like that's something that's way in the future, but it's something that I don't know how I'm going to talk about it. And I don't know how I'm gonna talk about it without crying or feeling ashamed, you know?
Listen, this is a great conversation, and I'm hearing every word she's saying, and I understand what she's saying. It just makes me feel a certain kind of way that she has also put other people's children in this position with the instance of what she did with Ethan on OnlyFans, with the picture of him or on the computer or something like that, or his voice or something. It was something that she was like and it's like that's something like potentially his child could see, and that's Auntie Trish. And it's like you did that to spite Ethan, and it just I don't know. I really would love to sit down and be like open arms with a video like this, but there's just so much to like dissect.
The fact of the matter is, ashamed is the wrong word, because I wasn't ashamed doing most of that stuff. I wasn't ashamed of it. I was okay with it.
Okay.
Obviously, I think nudity is beautiful. I do think that, but I guess I just don't want to be the example for my daughter that this is an option. And I know that sounds harsh maybe to other people, and I don't want anyone to feel bad about what they do, but I just, you know, you look at any profession that your parent does, and I think everybody has a respectable profession. My mom bartended most of her life, and I thought, you know, that's an option for me. And my dad was this entrepreneur who actually ended up having a really successful business, but for 10 years didn't have a successful business and was always, you know, like couldn't afford a lot of things, couldn't see us, worked around the clock, brought us to the office. And I was like, I guess that's an option too, is being working hard and busting your butt and, you know, sacrificing so much for a bigger payoff. Like, you know, you look at those options, and I think both of those are like respectable, right? But I feel when she looks at me and what I've done, I don't want her to look at that as a respectable option for her, because she's so fresh and like from a young age, not out of the womb, not a 1 month old, but you know, from a young age, I looked at sex work as like the viable option, the way I wanted to go.
I also just don't think that Trisha was really the voice of pro sex work for so long, and also built a career off of that, and paid for this house the same way with drama, hateful content with that as well. And it's like, to then shame that profession and people who are in that profession is weird. Sorry. It's weird. This is like it's weird. You are actively shaming the profession. And it's like, if you truly thought this, that's a great thing to have a conversation with Moses to. But to then project that on your audience, who a lot of them are probably sex workers because you're also a sex worker, so they feel comfortable with you, now you're projecting all this onto them.
And ultimately, it's not the way I wanted it to go. When I look back, like I really messed up in so many places, and like a lot of relationships suffered, a lot of work opportunities, a lot of entertainment opportunities I didn't get because of my relationship with the sex industry and stuff, or adult work or adult content, even on YouTube. And even to this day, I get opportunities, and the minute they do any sort of like research into me, or one of my lovely people that just want to make sure I don't progress in life will send nudes or explicit content that I've done to companies or to anything. That's why I really don't talk about projects. But even once I do talk about a project and it's like announced or something, like it gets shut down pretty quick because of that work. I'm always thankful when people can like look past it, but the truth of the matter is a lot of people can't, and that's the hard reality. A lot of people can't look past the fact that you did sex work or that this is out there about you. And again, I don't put blame. Companies like Dancing with the Stars, for instance, like they're owned by Disney now, so like obviously they're not gonna put me on Dancing with the Stars, right? Because this is a lot of reality shows, because it's just not, it's not good for their brand. Like they would, you know, if they get one hate comment, one hate call, it's just not good. So all that to say, I just wish I could have presented myself wholesome and presented myself better than I even am, because I did portray myself inauthentically anyways with trolling stuff.
I'm just confused where we're going with this video. I'm gonna be honest. I am. I genuinely am.
I just wish I could have presented myself in a very different way. And if you're young out there and you're on the internet, really think hard think twice, three times through before you post. You know, even like sexy photos, even, you know, all that stuff. Like, again, I'm all about empowerment. Hey, if you want to do OF at 18 and you thought long and hard about it and that's what you want to do, like, do it. A lot of people love it. And you know what? Maybe you'll end up having a family and like it'll just be so far from your past, like it will never even be brought up. I've done this for so many years and I've done it up through my pregnancy and stuff. And now I'm just faced with this like, how am I gonna explain this to my daughter, and how am I gonna explain, don't do this, you know what I mean? And how would I, you know, it's a way of explaining it now, which is kind of lackluster, but
yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh, what just happened? Oh no. See the difference without the lens on? Hold on, I'm gonna switch back. It fell off. Nice. Okay, I'm back and it is literally hanging on by a thread. So I need to get super glue and put it on properly tomorrow. It's like an extension of my lens, but I'm gonna keep it on permanently. It's cheaper than buying a new lens. I know that you don't care. But anyway, I'm gonna hold out hope that this lasts until the end of the video.
you know,
And if not, it's the Trisha
I
voodoo.
would have explored before going down this route. And I think starting too early, stripping at 18 and stuff, and doing nude photos and stuff like that at an early age, just set me up to be like, well, it's already out there. I've already done it, so let's just keep going now. It wasn't until I was like 30 until I was like, oh, let me do this route. Because to me, again, this was 2019 when I started. To me, I thought, well, you know, this was after coming out of mental hospital, out of, you know, figuring out my mental illness and all this stuff, getting off drugs, all stuff like that, where I was like, well, I have nothing else going for me right now. This is the next step in my career path ultimately. And guess what? People have projected on me that I'd be doing, you know, porn or whatever by the time I was 30 and I was there, nobody would care. And that's how I felt. But, you know, I ended up finding this whole other venue. And again, it was fun and I had a good time. So it's not that I regretted it. And ultimately I found a guy that like was accepting, wasn't like excited about me doing it, you know what I mean? Like when we met, we didn't date because I was doing OF collaborations with people, and it wasn't until I was like, no, until I could be like, okay, I'm done with collaborations, that we could start a relationship, because he just wasn't comfortable with that. I wouldn't be comfortable with that either, you know, like collaborating with other people and also being in a relationship, it just didn't work for us. So we got in a relationship. I stopped doing collabs, and like I'm so thankful for that, because it was a good guy and he is a decent guy. And it's like not impossible. I'm like rambling. Yeah, it's not impossible to find like a decent guy who's like accepting. And some guys are very enthusiastic. They'll encourage it. They'll be a part of it. They'll, you know, and I think that's great too when you can find a partner that does that. But I don't know. There's something in me that once I had her, or now that I've had her now a month, I'm just like, God, the world is hers, right? The world is hers, and I see her, and she is so bright already, and so smart and beautiful. And just pure. And when do we lose that purity? You know, when do we lose that pureness? And
okay, I'm gonna end the video here because I have a couple things that I think I'm just gonna stay consistent till the end. I completely understand and agree with where she's coming from when it comes to her child's now new to the world, and you know, she's looking at things differently. I just wish that, is my thing gonna fall? Or are we good? We're good. I feel like I hear the Velcro falling. It's a sign to end the video soon. I just wish that she would have also thought about, you know, other people's babies coming into the world and how she was affecting them, like Ethan and Neela's. And also the people that she was raising on the internet with her problematic content, normalizing so many, you know what I mean? It's like, I understand where she's coming from completely, but I also just understand completely that she's just hypocritical, and a lot of what she says is meaningless because of how much she's done. And unfortunately, in my opinion, that is how I look at it. If you agree with me, do, and if you don't, I would love to hear it. But muckers, let me know your opinion on this. I love you to the ones who were sending this in. I got you. We filmed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go finish my pickle. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Please make sure to check out my second channel, which is linked below, and also join the Facebook group. Okay, I love you. Bye. Mwah.